So why you can't rotate in a downswing, let's get straight into it. 3 reasons here we're going to dive into. So first one, guys, and this is huge. This is what I see on a daily basis of guys who struggle massively to rotate in the downswing. Their depth is severely lacking with their left arm and their hands at the top of their swing. So when we have a lack of depth, that just means your hands are very vertically up and your left arm is very vertically up to where you can see all of your right shoulder there. Why this stops you from rotating in the downswing is because as soon as we start to rotate from this position, that rotation is going to force the hands way too far out in front of you. So let's say you did somehow continue to rotate from there, you would massively swing over the top. So that's where a lot of times we see players who have this lack of depth at the top of their swing here. They would generally have to have their rotation be extremely minimal in the downswing, because then that will help the club drop back down on a path that is somewhat acceptable, that will help them hit the ball to the target. But from there, of course, with no rotation, we're going to have a lot of flip of the hands. We're going to struggle with low point control with that vertical hand drop, which will happen with a lack of rotation. So that's where you could be grinding and grinding away at your rotation, but you just can't make any improvements with it. It's because your hands are up here. For you to hit your target, your subconscious will not want you to rotate whatsoever. So a good drill to do for this is one, we want first and foremost to get the body turning in the backswing. Like we said, turning the downswing, the hands will slightly move out in front. We want to then make sure we're turning in the backswing to get the hands to move around us. The hands follow where you're rotating. So if we have a good turn up to the top of the backswing, nice deep backswing position, so more depth means hands more behind, left arm covering the shoulder plane here. When we turn the downswing from here in good sequencing, club falls on path nicely, doesn't get too far out in front. Sure, the hands still do move in front a little bit, but not too much. So now we've got that good path and we can continue to turn through. So the drill, like I said, is with something just like this here. So this is my swing plate. Absolutely brilliant training aid. If you want one of these, there's a link in the description for this with a discount code as well. So all this is a long alignment stick. If you can get any other way to have a long alignment stick, go for it. But what we want to do, get this in a place to where it's blocking my right, or our right shoulder here at setup. So you can see it's just outside me, blocking that right shoulder. So if I get a good turn and swing underneath this, I'm going to be in good depth, and then we can turn through the golf ball. So second reason is because your club face is far too open to be able to rotate. So I see a lot of people, whether it be in their backswing, wide open club face, or in their downswing, their club face opens up. Why your body won't rotate from there? Because if you do rotate, the club face is going to be hugely, hugely open, because when we rotate, we naturally get a little bit of shaft lean, and you can see how that's going to open the club face even more. So for that, ball's going to go right or left for a left-handed golfer. It's not hitting the ball to your target. What your body does to react to this, to get you to hit the ball to the target, it slows down just so you can get some hand release going through it to be able to square that golf shot up. So again, body has to stop to be able to, in its rotation, to get the club to square up, to get you to hit the ball to your target. If you can't rotate, it's because you are doing something in your golf swing to get yourself to hit the ball to the target. So body's always trying to compensate for bad things we do. So for us here, we want to get nice square club face. So a square club face is square to the arc. So a good way to view this is especially at shaft parallel to the ground. We want to have this club face matching our spine angle. So you can see how the grooves here are slightly pointing down towards the ground. So I will see commonly with people who can't rotate because they're open club face, be like this. Toe straight up to the sky, or maybe even more open, whether this will be in takeaway or down at shaft parallel in the downswing. So I want to get the club face as square as I can, as early as I can. So a little drill that I would do here is getting to shaft parallel to the ground, making sure my hands are about, let's say, a fist distance outside my right leg. So on top of my right leg, sorry there. And then we want to have the club face just slightly angled down. Grooves are just slightly looking down, and not this much. More of a square club face or more of a closed club face there will just get you to where your swing environment will have to create more rotation than you could probably produce. So we just want it slightly angled down so it's nice and square. We would stop there and then swing up and swing through. So the last reason on this video that we're going to talk about of why you can't rotate a downswing, and this is something I see a lot with students at the moment, and that is getting up to the top of your backswing and having the right hip start to move forward as we're completing the backswing. So these are for the golfers who look at their downswing and they go, I'm early extending. So of course, if your body is extending too much forward, you're not then going to be able to rotate all too well. Biomechanically, it's going to be hard to do. Really difficult to perform that movement whilst you're aggressively moving forward. But two, again, it's not going to produce a good golf shot. If you start rotating whilst moving your body forward, you're most likely going to hosel it, out the shank. You're going to hit it, terribly. So, for those golfers, their reason why their body is moving forward, which is stopping them from rotating, is because they're moving forward in the backswing. So we want to get them, instead of moving forward, weight going onto the toes, just that last bit, right hip driving forward, we want to feel like the right hip is moving deeper in that backswing. We want to feel like someone's grabbing almost your right trouser pocket and just giving it a little tug back there. That's going to get that right hip moving deeper, and it's going to be far easier then for you to stay in your posture and get that left hip moving back and around, which will keep you in your posture nicely. And of course, as you can see, get you quite rotated. So a good drill to do for this is what I tell all my students to do who suffer with this problem, and that is doing this drill with a chair. So I'm just going to grab a chair here, camping chair. You can use this, you can use your golf bag, anything that you can just put behind your hamstrings here. Now the key is, we want in the backswing to be pushing it back with our right hip. Like I said, someone's grabbing your right trouser pocket, just tugging it back there. That's the feel we want, pushing it back. So once we do that, that's that right hip moving deeper, and then in the downswing, we want to then push it back with that left hip as soon as we can and really push it back. When people do this drill, they do it wrong. Most of the time, they're just trying to keep in contact with it. You need to push it, really push it back. I'm going to hit this little one here, and I'm going to really feel like I'm pushing it off my platform. That's my goal. So again, pushing it back in the backswing with the right hip, getting it deeper. It's going to help me then prime me to rotate, get the left hip going back in the downswing. So, okay guys, those are 3 reasons to why you're not rotating in the downswing. Something I hear players struggle with all the time. Come to me for lessons about, of course, trying to get better rotation. A lot of them will always say, I think I'm not able to rotate because I'm not flexible enough, maybe not athletic enough. And every single time you look at a student swing who says that, their golf swing isn't in the environment to be able to rotate. One of these 3 will most likely be what's going on. Now, there are more reasons. I made a video with almost this exact title, almost 3 years ago, right at the beginning of my channel, which has a couple other reasons on it as well. But I also have a full course on how to rotate properly in the downswing, which is on the app version of Skillist, which is the ultimate guide to rotate in the downswing. Has everything you want to know about rotation in it, absolutely everything, good drills, a practice routine to do, where you can tailor to yourself after watching it and make yourself rotate afterwards. I can guarantee that for sure. So there are more reasons, but these are the most common ones I'm seeing at the moment in my coaching. Of course, if you want coaching as well, there's a link for that in the description along with the courses. So that'll be down there. If you want us to work one-on-one together on Skillist, we can do that. You can just see the reviews on there once you have a look on my coaching profile to know online lessons are the most effective way to give lessons entirely. So absolutely guys, the knowledge about this is hugely important. Have a look at your golf swing, see if you've got any one of these in your golf swing, any one of these 3 points if you're not rotating. More knowledge you have about the swing, the better you'll be as a golfer. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too, to be notified every time I put out a video. So have a good go at these, you'll be a better golfer.